Hello guys, welcome to this video. The Haitian struggle reincarnates the most popular struggle in the history of humanity: revolutions and counter-revolution. Every revolution has been planted on the soil of hope. People believe that their current suffering, their misfortunes in life are as a result of the people that are ruling them. So you find that in most cases, for revolutions to be successful, devils are made out of the political leaders that govern these countries, leading to hope. So people see their leaders as the demons, as the people who are causing the entire problem. The Haitian issue has also been planted on the soil of a blame game. People are blaming. They are saying that the poor are poor because the rich are rich. This is totally, I don't think this is any way close to reason, because it does not make sense to say that only few people are rich and others are poor. So because they are poor, they fight the government. That does not make sense. Ever since the dawn of history, ever since the first man appeared on this planet, we have a resource inequality. You can look the classical example of Abel and Cain. You find that Abel was well endowed and Cain was not well endowed. One was favored and the other one was not favored, and this is real. This is really the root of hatred, because once Cain hated Abel, then Cain killed Abel because he saw Abel as his enemy. So this is the same thing that is happening in Haiti. What is happening is that some leaders are deceiving people that they are suffering and poor because some people are rich. The reality of the matter is that that's not the case. The case here is simple. There are some realities within a human being, and one of those realities is desire. People have a desire. Even the people that right now are leading the gangs in these kinds of operation, they are also human beings, and they also have desires, such as desire for wealth and desire for power. So it simply means, even if they get to power, or once they also get to power, they will also repeat the same patterns, simply because when they get into power, their interests and their missions will also shift. Once they get into power, they will get into the position of wanting to keep that power as long as possible. So when they get into that position, they will be also exercise the same kind of things that they are blaming the government in place of exercising. We have to realize that the problem is not the rich, or the problem is not really that some people are mismanaging the country. The problem is simply that of human nature, and the human nature is self-seeking and very, very egoistic. That is the problem in Haiti. Having gangs fighting each other, these are all problems that come from human nature, seeking power after power that only terminates in death. So what can we do to help Haiti? What is the best political advice that Haiti can take? The best political advice for Haiti to take is simple. They have to organize ways to really accommodate human nature through creating ways that facilitate healthy competition that does not always have to end in war. The world has learned its lessons from wars. We remember the catastrophe of World War One and World War Two. In these wars, people learned that war, at the end of the day, only leads to more and more immense suffering. War reparations take decades, leading to depressions and economic recessions. So there is so much suffering that is attached to war. So that's why people learned to have methods of competition that do not necessarily involve war. This is the cradle of civilization. That's why we have things such as elections. These are ways and means of organizing competition in a way that is healthy for all. This is why we have constitutions. This is why we have civilization. Civilization has worked in so many countries. Anarchy will only lead to savagery, whereby human beings exist like animals. They are bereft of reason and they kill each other every time. So it is what Thomas Hobbes described as the war of one against all, or all against one. That kind of situation is something that belongs to the dustbin of history. As a humanity, we have come a long way to be returned back to the follies of war. War is really very terrible because it will only lead to pain for everyone. Even maybe the beneficiaries of war may be the few our leaders or people that are leading in those gangs, but at the end of the day, millions of people will suffer negatively from the war. Let's look, for example, at the Rwandan situation. The Up to today, Rwandese citizens are still suffering from the costs of the genocide. So this is really what it means. So I think it is very, very important for the world community to really do something to help Haiti come out of this kind of political problem. All problems, we are an interconnected world, and if we cannot fix Haiti, then something else will happen. I believe the organization at the top of global governance, that is the United Nations, should really do something about the Haiti situation, because if we ignore a challenge, if we ignore a problem, the way we are seeing major world powers do right now, what simply happens is that this problem creates more problems. So instead of having one problem, at the end of the day, we will have a family of problems. So it is very, very essential that world leaders look at Haiti not as a Haiti problem, but as a global problem, because there is always spillover effect. If people cannot live in Haiti, what happens? Most people will start moving and causing immigration issues to the other countries, such as the US. So most people, the neighboring countries will also suffer, because these inflows of people and outflows of people continually create more and more problems for everyone. So the problem is more cheaper if we face the problem in Haiti and find a way to help Haiti people find a solution, because they cannot help themselves. Right now they are in a phase known as struggle for the fittest, and that kind of phase is very, very dangerous, because anything goes. The strongest will be the one to keep Haiti for himself. So that kind of situation will really lead to only turmoil and chaos. I think it is my plea to the global community and global systems of governance to really take the Haitian problem seriously, because if it is left and if it is ignored, it will simply create more and more problems that will be really risky to our civilization as a whole. World War One began World War One began just like this, with a small country, and it ended up causing millions of deaths. Let us not go back into those rude annals of history. I think it's important that the world realizes that it is important to stop the chaos and anarchy in Haiti, and also realize that as a world, if we do not take care of Haiti, The Haiti problem will simply reproduce more problems that will hurt us even more. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, and